October actually marks my, I believe, 3 years of being subscribed to Artsnacks now. I got it originally for the October box because they tend to do more exciting things for their October box solely for Inktober. Now they have an individual Inktober box, which I did not get, but I got the October box. And something I did know that was included with this was Copic markers, or at least a Copic marker. They did tease Copic Classic markers being in this box, so I knew that was in it, but nothing else. The very first thing I ended up pulling out though was the Sun Layer Abstract Acrylic ink, and mine was in the color Chinese Blue. I've worked with acrylic inks before, so I kind of knew what to expect with this one, which is nice. I do like art supplies that are kind of in my range of comfort, so most of this box, or all of it, was pretty much comfort supplies for me. And then the sticker, which is probably the cutest sticker I've ever gotten from Artsnacks. It's very festive, it has some cute little ghosts on it. It was adorable. I was also very relieved to see that the colors in the classic markers I got were not ones I had duplicates of in the sketch markers. And in case you're wondering, the only difference between the classic and the sketch is that the classic has a bullet nib instead of a brush nib, and they're square instead of round. They also sent a Royon Langnickel brush in a round size 4, which is a decent size, and then a general semi-hex drawing pencil, which is just a pencil to me. I don't use graphite pencils, so whenever I get one, it's just kind of add to the tote of graphite pencils I've received from Artsnacks. So definitely right off the bat, I was like, oh wow, very blue color scheme. I was definitely happy that the Copic markers that I received were not duplicates that I have, because that's something I was really worried about, that I would be receiving colors that I already had in sketch markers, which would be kind of a disappointment. I do have similar colors, but I don't have these colors, so I was very excited about that. And when I was swatching everything out, I was really surprised with the color of the acrylic ink, the actual color it ended up being once it was put on a page. It's dilutable, so you could get these really pretty light blues out of it, but it was definitely not as dark as I thought it was initially, so we didn't get a huge difference in hues in this box, as well as not a huge difference in value in this box, so we're in very similar color families with all the supplies that we got. So also, I would like to mention that as far as Artsnacks' retail value that they give on their menu, this box is about $28 in retail value, give or take a little bit, because I know especially even with Copic markers, you can get them cheaper places versus their like $7.99 retail value, but that is what they say is the retail value, so that makes this box a little bit more than worth it. And on to what I actually ended up drawing for this month's box is a dragon. I've been reading a decent amount lately. I kind of got back into reading because I haven't done that since I was in high school, basically. And a lot of the books I've been reading, aka all of the books I've been reading, have had dragons in them, which has made me want to draw dragons, which is something I've never pursued before. I've doodled a couple in my sketchbook, but I haven't done any like finished piece. And also, I don't know how to draw dragons at all. Like, obviously, they're just like a mythical creature, so technically nothing's wrong with doing any kind of looking dragon, but I want them to look cool. I want them to look very cool, and that's something that I'm not good at. Just like any kind of reptile, I don't obviously draw reptiles, and I stay more in like a cuter style. I like drawing things that are cute more so than like cool looking, so it's definitely been a learning experience drawing dragons from references of other people's illustrations, basically, is what I've been going off of. It's taken a lot of reference pictures, but it is something that I decided I wanted to do with this box. Not necessarily for the color scheme, I just wanted to draw a dragon, and then I ended up fitting that color scheme into what I wanted to draw. So, we made it work. I didn't really thumbnail what I was gonna draw. I kind of had an idea in my head of what I wanted it to look like, and then I ended up going with that. I also decided to do scales on the entire back of the dragon, like individually drawn scales, which I thought was really fun to do just because I could play around with the depth of the scales with all the colors I got. And honestly, I was really surprised with just the sheer amount of depth I was able to get with these colors. I was kind of worried about it because they all were pretty similar colors, but overall I am very happy with how this ended up turning out. It was also really nice to draw something that I don't have a set vision on, so especially when I was going in with the paintbrush and doing refined details and refined outlines and stuff like that, I didn't feel pressured if I put a line somewhere where I didn't intend on putting a line, or if it wasn't exactly what I wanted to do. it was very nice being able to paint something not worrying about like drawing a face a certain way or a body a certain way like I would if I was drawing like a human character necessarily, if that makes sense. It was just really nice because I was very loose with this drawing, especially when working with the chisel Copic end and the bullet Copic end versus normally I work with the brush, sometimes the chisel. But I don't know, it was just very like freeing to be able to do this drawing because it was something that I wasn't super particular about. If something didn't go the way I intended it to go, it wasn't a big deal. I just had a lot of fun doing this, and it was a very loose painting for me, so I had a lot of fun doing this. I also wasn't happy, even in the sketch, with the sheer amount of white space I had to the left, and I ended up just blocking that out with the ink, which I really like because when it's in full concentration, it is pretty dark of a color, so it wasn't as light as the Copics, for example. Even the gray Copic, it was able to get a lot darker than that. And then, because it was still really, really plain, I decided to throw some leaves in there. In my head, this was kind of like an ice/water dragon because it was blue, so I was like, I don't know if I should put in leaves because that doesn't really go with it, but I decided to do it anyways and just fully commit to doing that because it was empty space and I like drawing foliage, so I decided to draw some foliage. But that is how this ended up turning out. It's definitely something out of the realm of what I normally draw, but I am really happy with how this guy turned out. It's definitely something that I want to keep trying. I want to draw more dragons just because they're really fun to draw. It's something that I don't have to be super particular or nitpicky with, so I did have a lot of fun working with the supplies in this box. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.